The all-new 2025 Audi Q5 is here, the third generation of a luxury SUV that blends subtle design changes with impressive new technology. While it may look familiar at first glance, this third-generation Q5 is packed with performance upgrades, enhanced safety features, and a refreshed interior that elevates both comfort and style. Whether you're an Audi enthusiast or just exploring the world of luxury SUVs, this is the preview you want to check. For all the latest car reviews, previews, and fresh updates from the automotive world, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on what's next. Now, let's get back to what you've come for, the all-new 2025 Audi Q5. 2025 Audi Q5 Redesign. The new third-generation Q5 is here to carry the torch forward, building on what the first two generations have achieved. Poetic words aside, the outgoing second-generation model never stopped to impress with its sales numbers. It's one of the most popular models in the class, and what's particularly intriguing is that its sales have been growing lately despite its age. Still, this is the right move, because, let's sound poetic again, time relentlessly flows and tramples everything in its path. The outgoing generation has been around since 2018, and 6 years in production is plenty enough to get old in such a competitive segment. However, with such respectable success of the outgoing model, Audi had no other option but to do what it does best, to bring nothing more than a subtle change, at least when it comes to aesthetics. Those who aren't particularly into Audis will hardly notice any radical change, and indeed, from the outside, this really looks more like a facelift than a full redesign, as the overall shape and proportions don't go far away from the second generation. But the devil, as they say, is in the details, and the 2025 Audi Q5 brings plenty of them. Of course, the majority is at the front, where the first thing you'll probably notice is that duo of massive air intakes, one on each side of the bumper. Furthermore, the grille seems more upright, while the new pattern makes it look more aggressive and more futuristic. Speaking of futurism, the new slim headlights look great, but unfortunately, their best version with Matrix technology won't come to North America due to specific regulations on our shores. Nevertheless, we have no doubt that loyal Audi customers are more than happy with how the new front end looks. From the side, there are also a few interesting novelties to talk about. We said earlier that the proportions are similar, and so is the side profile. Still, things somehow look better, and one of the reasons may be the new, deeper, and more prominent scallop door design, which now extends all the way to the rear wheels. Furthermore, there are some pretty nice flares on the leading edge of the front doors and the trailing edge of the rear doors, contributing to the more aerodynamic look of the new SUV. Of course, new sets of wheels are there too, starting with base 18-inch units and going up to 21-inch rims in case you pick the performance-oriented SQ5. On the rear, of course, there are new LED taillights that are now connected via a light bar that spans the whole width of the new SUV, while another interesting detail is a high-mounted stoplight which projects onto the rear window when braking, keeping the following vehicles alert. Familiar from the outside, not from the inside. This title clearly suggests that we're about to talk about the interior now, but that won't be the case. We rather think about what's deep under the skin about the new platform. At first, it seemed like the whole Volkswagen group was leaning toward full electrification and that remaining combustion models would carry on based on old technology. But then it became clear that combustion cars still had a couple of good decades. So, Audi designed a new platform called Premium Platform Combustion, a successor to the good old MLB architecture. And the basic principles are the same: a longitudinally mounted engine, good old quattro all-wheel drive, and all other things that typically come with an Audi. But the new platform brought a couple of important upgrades, starting from the ability to accommodate larger batteries, suggesting all kinds of electrification scenarios in the future. Furthermore, the new generation gets upgraded engines, new transmission, and further suspension polishing. Then there's the matter of the latest driver assist and safety systems. All variants for the US market will come fully loaded with safety features, including automatic emergency braking, pedestrian detection, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, driver monitoring, and many more. Besides familiar systems, Audi also introduces the so-called Adaptive Driving Assistant Plus, a system that uses ADAS and high-resolution map data to optimize traffic sign recognition and assist with acceleration, lane guidance, distance, and more, and it's expected to be particularly helpful in traffic jams. Familiar from the outside, not from the inside, Part 2. Now let's put safety and technical things aside and focus on more interesting things, such as the new interior. While the exterior of the new 2025 Audi Q5 represents the evolution of a familiar design, the cabin design is a completely different story. Things are radically different from the previous generation, starting from the more driver-oriented layout. There's the new steering wheel design with flat top and bottom. Then there's the curved panel with a new digital screen integrated with the massive 14.5-inch infotainment screen, which is now way more oriented towards the driver. The screen is bigger, the graphics are better, and the response is quicker. And the system is Android-based, so it should be even more intuitive than the outgoing, already pretty impressive software. But despite the biggest screens, Audi didn't make the same mistakes some other car makers did. It hasn't removed all of the physical controls. Some of them are still there, including a volume that can also be used for other functions of the stereo system. Unfortunately, that's not the case with the steering wheel, which rather uses those non-particularly convenient touch-sensitive controls. And don't think that with the new driver-oriented center infotainment screen, the front passenger is going to feel neglected. Audi offers a third one, a 10.9-inch screen for the passenger, which ensures easier control of the infotainment and also allows to watch videos during the drive, as in that case, the screen is not visible to the driver. Aside from the generous offer of the latest tech features, the new cabin looks elegant, with simple and clean lines with a touch of conservatism, as is Audi's typical fashion. It's still early to talk about the materials and build quality, but the new seats look quite comfortable. But again, we can't say much until the new model arrives on our market, which should happen sometime in mid-2025. Considering that the new generation doesn't feature significantly different proportions, we believe that the amount of passenger space won't change drastically. The same is true for the cargo area, as the Ingolstadt company claims that, with the rear seats down, it can expand to 52 cubic feet, which is not spectacular, but still quite decent volume for the segment. Powertrain and Performance. Big changes are coming under the hood as well. First of all, it seems like the new platform isn't exactly in line with the familiar 362 horsepower plug-in hybrid from the previous generation, so we won't be seeing it anymore. Also, the European market version, which already came and can be configured with a mild hybrid powertrain that benefits from a small 24-kilowatt electric motor, won't arrive in America either. We presume that a new electrified version, a plug-in hybrid to be more precise, is in the works and will arrive in the future, though it's still hard to tell when. Therefore, the initial version, the 2025 Audi Q5, will stick to gas-only options. Base models will get an upgraded version of the familiar 2-liter Turbo 4. The engine design is rather the same, but a few tweaks increase the max output to 268 horsepower, so we presume that this extra power will also make its impact on acceleration. Paired with a dual-clutch transmission and standard quattro all-wheel drive, it should be able to hit 60 in about 5.5 seconds relatively easily. Still, those more demanding customers who would rather go with the SQ5, the hotter version on offer, which continues with the familiar 3-liter turbocharged V6. The max output is rated at 362 horsepower, but the big novelty is that the old-school 8-speed automatic with torque converter is gone, and that the new generation benefits from the lightning-fast gear changes of the 7-speed dual clutch. We have no doubt that the new transmission will make a big impact on acceleration, and that the new version will be able to hit 60 in less than 4.5 seconds. But the SQ5 will once again be much more than just a powerful engine. Upgraded brakes, sporty suspension, and other tweaks will be coming. And while we're talking about the suspension, base models will once again be offered with adaptive dampers, so even those versions on the cheaper end will be able to offer a great blend of comfort and athleticism, once again in Audi's typical fashion. Release date and price. The all-new 2025 Audi Q5 is already available in Europe, but North American drivers will have to be patient because the latest reports suggest it will arrive sometime in mid-2025, most likely next spring. Pricing is TBD, but we presume that the base versions will be available at around $48,000. Of course, competition remains the same in the form of the BMW X3, Mercedes-Benz GLC, Lexus NX, Volvo XC60, etc. What do you think of the 2025 Audi Q5? Do you think that the Ingolstadt company has done enough to beat the competition? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.